Instigators hour number 2. Nathan Paetsch joining the show, newest member of the Sabres coaching squad. He's hired the other day to be in player development. And you know what, Paetsch, good morning, first of all. Good morning, buddy.
Guys.
I just said to our producer director there, Jeff Koldenak, I said, obviously he's retired, but I don't remember Paetsch actually announcing his retirement. And he said, well, he did it on the show. I was like, oh, that's
literally did it with you.
He literally did it on the Instigators, which is why I didn't read about it. Oh, it's great. And anyway, welcome, Paetsch. Congrats on the new gig, man.
Thanks. I'm really, really excited about it. Can't wait.
Yeah, I bet you are. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday a little bit, and I kind of feel like you've already been doing this.
Yeah, really, it was my role the last 2-3 years in the minors. It was basically the exact same thing I'm going to be doing now, except they don't have to put on the skates and try to slug around after the kids anymore.
Yeah, but you're going to miss that. You know what? You're going to be like Cunny out there. I guarantee it. You're totally going to be in the games. You're going to be.
He is James Patrick. Better shape than ever. All the kids.
That's
you are going to be,
man. Of course.
Absolutely.
Him and Dougie Huda, two of the best guys in hockey. I couldn't have two better coaches.
Hey, listen, I mean, and those are two great guys to aspire to be in this game.
Yep. They were, both of them just took me, you know how many healthy scratches I had between the two leagues as a young guy. And I was with those guys more than I was with the teammates half the time. So definitely two guys to look up to.
Well, what's your role going to be? Like, what are you going to be doing? Are you going to be bagging the guys on the ice? Because, I mean, you're going to be able to see right through all the procrastination the guys try to pull before they do their next bout.
No, I'll be on the ice a little bit, but it's more working with the prospects and the draft picks. So the development staff really gets in communication with everybody that the Sabres have drafted. Obviously, I'll be more on the defensive side with the defense prospects, dealing with them, and just kind of smoothing over the transition from being drafted to turning pro to, being successful with the Sabres, and then an extension of the Amerks and Cincinnati staff when I can make it there as well.
So does that mean that you'll be traveling on the road? You'll be seeing live games with Owen Power, Ryan Johnson, players along that line? You can have dialogue with these players to see how they're doing in their current season, watching obviously a lot of film and understand these guys and just build that relationship with the younger players?
Yeah, that's precisely my job, is just basically working with them. Obviously, you know how difficult it is to turn pro and the pressure that these guys have on them. I'm there to go to those games, talk to them, build a relationship, make sure they're comfortable when they do turn pro and come into Buffalo, kind of let them know what to expect, and then hopefully give them tips and advice to how to succeed once they get there.
How are you going to teach them about the roller coaster ride?
It's difficult. I think the biggest thing I teach young guys is, you got to keep the even keel. You can't have too many ups, too many downs. And the biggest thing I changed my life is obviously kids. So it gave me a different perspective, but I try to share, listen, once you get away from the rink, turn it off. But it's a difficult thing to tell a young guy, but if you can turn it off once you leave and just try to leave the rink at the rink, it helps kind of straighten that ups and downs a little.
Something I was never able to do.
Is there a lot of focus in trying to teach these young kids? And, when I played and Petey and, obviously you played well beyond, us. It seems like social media is just, it is a different monster right now. And like, how much conversation goes into not just the players, the players' talents, things that he needs to work on mentally and physically, but also to teach these guys about, what needs to happen with this social media monster and, going on, all the hockey sites, to read things on yourself, whether it's positive or negative. How do you deal with these young players?
You just got to be open and honest with them and tell them the risks that they're involved with. Obviously, people brand themselves. That's part of the game now, and it's part of what makes the game successful. But you have to be so close to the vest and really be careful what you say, because, you're a part of the Buffalo Sabres organization. So every time you say something online, you're representing not only yourself, not only your family, but the Buffalo Sabres. So it's extremely important that you have your kids are getting older, Riv, so you know how difficult it is with children. Yeah. My son's 10, going to be 11 in December, and he's already getting to that age where we have to have those conversations. It's a whole different world. It's a completely different ballgame than when we were playing, and it's just something they really have to be cognizant of and protect themselves, really.
It would have been nice to have these roles when we were prospects, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
like you can only call your agent so much, and you can only, you always have questions about what's going on with the team and yourself, and you know what I mean? And I look back and I think I watch all these teams hiring all these player development guys around the league to go and, work with their prospects that have been drafted or guys in the minors. And you're just like, the evolution of the game, right? It's why these young players are so good.
Well, of course, you draft somebody, it's a huge investment. So you're investing. And so by having a player development coach, you're just doubling down on that investment and trying to build up what, essentially, you don't want to say capital, but that's really what it is when you're building a team and an organization. You draft these guys and you want them to succeed. So you want to give them all the tools as possible. And we're one of those tools to try to help these guys grow and mature and become the best people and players that they can.
Does this still allow you to do the bio? What the bio? You were doing the bio stuff.
No. Unfortunately, I mean, those guys they're just top notch. They're going to be extremely successful with or without me, and I can't thank them enough what they did for me and how positive they were when I called them and told them the opportunity I had. They were all pumped for me, and just I can't say enough good things about the company and the people that work for it. I'm going to miss them, but I'll still be in touch and be friends with those guys for life.
Well, let me ask you this, because you weren't really involved much in hockey last year outside of your kids, right?
No, but
how was it for you?
I mean, as Riv knows, being involved with your kids team is more than when you're playing. So luckily I had that, but being away. So basically I was struggling. Let's be honest. I was really struggling because how I feel about the game. And I have a bunch of buddies like Stevie Johnson, guys like that are still scouts and other scouts. And I would just constantly be talking to them. I'd be watching their games and breaking down film for them just because I missed it. And I was helping out I was basically doing player development for a couple local kids just because I missed it. And it just, to be back in those conversations with an NHL club, it's a dream come true. I really feel it's what I was born to do.
And
how did it come
where's the focus? Like, obviously you're gonna take on this new role. You just retired. You have a really long career, and now you're in a situation where you're gonna dive into something that essentially you've been doing for many years, but now you have a defined role, development coach, learning to, all of the things that you have learned throughout your career. And I'm going to tell you right now, we've all in this, on this chat, played a long time, and we made a lot of really good decisions because look at where we got to, but we also made a lot of bad ones. And I think that needs to be portrayed to these young guys too. Those are where the lessons are really learned. The lessons are really learned with making, tougher decisions, poor decisions, and you learn from that. You move forward. And I look at you, who's played for so long, who, you look like you could still play, and you probably still could, but to be able to kind of interact with these younger guys and tell them, what you went through. I guess my question is, where do you want to go from what you're doing right now?
Well, I mean, I just want to build it within the hockey community. It was my dream start job, to be honest with you. It's something I had hoped to do because I really was doing it in Rochester for the last couple of years. And from here, I want to just keep growing within the hockey community. I don't have a specific goal of where that is, where the end game is, but it's to stay in hockey and grow at my role and build on that. And just
usually with the situation that you're in, there's a lot of players that are former players that are in your situation that go in two different directions, is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah. One direction is you're going to be going into the coaching ranks. Okay. Yeah. Do you aspire to be an NHL coach someday or a head coach, or would you like to move into a managerial role and try to, help build a team?
I think that's what this job is going to help me figure out, because I really do enjoy both sides of it. I really love coaching, but also I've always really enjoyed the kind of I guess, evaluating players and discussing it and seeing it. And in the AHL level, I still get my trade deadline, my phone blows up because I know players and I can discuss them. So that part of it also really intrigues me. I don't know as much about that side of it, and I'm hoping to learn more with this role and kind of be a little bit a part of that and see where it goes from there. The coaching side, obviously I have a passion for that. I coach my son's team and I love it. And I've volunteer coached at higher levels too, just to be on the bench and learn and grow on that side of it. And it's the future holds, I'm not sure, but all I know is I want to be in hockey, and I think this role is kind of perfect for me to grow and really see both sides of it and see where I want to go from here.
I don't know about you, Riv, but I'm kind of happy the guy didn't want to get into broadcasting. Good looking, well spoken, smart, knows the game. We might be out of a job.
Yep.
I'm surprised you didn't ever want to get into broadcasting, Paetsch, to be honest with you. I thought that would have been something, but you know what? You're good where you are. Stay there.
Face for the radio, you got to stick with what you're good at.
Oh yeah, now you're just looking for compliments like he always would when he'd walk around with his shaven body, freshly shaven out of the shower. How do I look, guys? How do I look? Paetsch looked like Riv. Sorry, Paetsch. Paetsch looked, when he would shave, he would look like he lost 25, 30 pounds.
Well, I legitimately did lose 20 pounds, so let's be honest.
Okay.
Shaving.
So I want, seriously though, like the last year out of hockey. I mean, Riv and I have talked about this openly on the air, but a lot off the air too. Just the first year out of hockey, I remember a friend of mine, he didn't even play in the NHL. He was just like, listen, when you're done playing hockey, you're going to be kind of lost, right? Oh. Even it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what level you make. Like you're always going to be just a little bit lost.
Well, lost is a good word, but I look at it. Remember when you were younger and you had that tough breakout and you feel like your heart hurts? I felt like a part of my heart was gone, and it was like a pain, and I just couldn't find my bearings. Something was missing in my life, and I really struggled. Luckily, my wife, and she's my rock, but she knew how much I was struggling. It's difficult. It's 17 years pro, and really I've been playing hockey since I was 3 years old, and junior hockey is essentially pro, but at a younger age. And I was definitely lost. I didn't know where I was, and a piece of me was missing. And luckily the people from BioSteel came along and really helped me out a lot and saved me and got me back kind of on the team. But at the end of the day, I still wasn't in hockey. I wasn't having those conversations. I wasn't watching hockey games, being part of that. And I'm excited. I mean, even when I wasn't playing, my last couple of years, I played 10 games. I still loved it. I love going to the rink. I love watching. I love helping. There was nothing more satisfying than seeing a young guy like, say, Jacob Bryson. You sit beside him every day, and then all of a sudden he comes over for dinner, and then the next week he's playing the NHL, and my son's sitting on the couch. He's like, hey, he just did it at our house. I mean, it's an incredible feeling, and it's very rewarding, and that's the part I really miss, and I'm excited to continue with this new role.
When did you realize, like, when did it become hard? Because I remember, we were together. We were in Rochester together when I stopped playing. I just shut it down in November. And I thought I'm like, this is great. This is great. I got November, December, January. You're sitting around. I was still getting paid. And I was just kind of like, this is great. I'm enjoying not playing hockey anymore. Summertime rolled around, no working out, no training. Then September hits and you're kind of like, I'm kind of happy I'm not going to a training camp. But then October hit for me, and I was just kind of like, I just plummeted emotionally. I felt I was like, I was even doing medical device sales at the time, and I just felt like I had no purpose. I was sitting there and I'm just like, what am I doing?
You lose that fight, that kind of winning mentality, that team mentality. It's very difficult it's like a part of you is gone, and you want to get it back. You yearn for it. I mean, I was the same way. Obviously COVID shut everybody down. And then when the puck really dropped after training camp and Amerks started playing, the Sabres started playing, that's when it hit me hard. What was it? Probably almost a full year before they got back or whatever it was. But when everybody started playing games again, it hit me really hard. I knew nothing but going to the rink every day or training for an end goal, going to the rink every day and trying to work out in my basement and slug through it. It was just like, it was tough. I felt like I was on the Airdyne doing 500 calorie rides again all over. It's just trying to barrel through it but didn't see an end game. And it was tough. I'm not going to lie. it's a great advice for guys that are going to be retiring. It's a really difficult thing. And luckily I had a lot of guys like you that other older guys I play with said, just play as long as you can. And I think I squeezed about as much out of this as I possibly could. And that's why I played so long, but I loved it. I loved every day. I've always said that I loved every day I was at the rink, and I'm just happy to be in a role where I'm going to walk back into that hockey rink, walk back into a dressing room and talk with the kids. And that's where my passion lies.
Did you stick with the pregame?
I'll tell you this. I think that the NHL and the NHLPA need to start a program.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I truly believe this, that once you leave the NHL and you retire, there should be a committee that makes sure that the player that is retired and moved on from this game is guided and helped into the second challenging part of his life, because there is a tremendous amount of players.
The problem, I agree with you, and I feel like they've tried. Paetsch, I mean, you were a player rep, weren't you? Associate player rep for.
I still am executive on the executive board because they haven't been able to replace me. So still a player rep.
Well, there you go. So, I mean, I don't even know where I was going with this.
Well, there's
because they've I feel like they've tried in certain ways, but I don't think any player, even here,
that's a crock
see what
of
I deal
crap.
With. See what I deal with, Paetsch.
That's
Paetsch,
a
you better
crock
hope.
of crap that
Paetsch, you better hope those prospects
tried.
you're dealing with listen to you better than Craig.
You know how many
listens
calls
to me.
I
That's
got
for
when I
sure.
retired?
Yeah, I know.
0.
I hadn't
Oh,
finished.
you
I
got
hadn't
lots of
finished
money?
my point.
Everything's fine. Bull crap.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
care how much money you have, how much money you've made.
That's where I was going.
Transition from what we have done is very difficult for any one of us.
Yeah, you've seen it with
And
all our.
there needs to be a much better job of trying to help these guys. And I'm going to tell you, all of us have different backgrounds, with our schooling. There's how many players in the league right now don't even graduate high school?
Yeah, and then you got the spectrum of Harvard grads to high school grads.
Exactly. You have guys that are graduating from Harvard. There's all over the spectrum. And there needs to be more focus on guiding guys into the next part of their life. And I don't think the NHL or the NHLPA do a good job of this at all. Actually, do a terrible job.
I think they could do a much better job and put much more emphasis on it. I think it's hard, and I think you two can agree. Players are stubborn.
Yeah.
Players are stubborn. They don't want to talk about after their career, even though it's the harsh reality. They don't. And I'm not saying they don't want to prepare for it, but can anyone really prepare for how they're going to feel? I mean, Paetsch, did you think you were going to feel how you did? If you had told me that, Paetsch, I would have said, no way, man. You played in the NHL, you made good money, you won Calder Cups, like you played forever, like you've built a life around hockey. I would have been like, there's no way you're going to struggle when you come out of hockey. None. But again, it seems to be every single player, but every single player, they ignore it. They ignore it after hockey and they ignore it before hockey.
Well, we come from a generation too that you're supposed to really bury your emotions. You're not supposed to tell them, correct? And so it's difficult. And to Riv's point, essentially, if you put together a player development coach for retirees, is really what you're looking for, right, Riv? I mean, you get somebody that it's your job, or maybe two guys, a team that when the guy retires, you just check in on him every couple of weeks. How you doing? How's this going? Probably mean a lot to guys. I know it probably would have meant a lot to me. It's tough.
It's about getting the right guy that's going to make that phone calls too, who's going to sit there and speak with guys and listen to guys and say, what are you doing? What are you doing? Do you need help with trying to find the next phase of your life. I don't care if you want to go back to school. I don't care if you want to do construction or become a firefighter or whatever you want to do. We are going to help you, and we're going to help guide you in whatever you need help with. And you're not going to do it alone. That's the hardest part, is doing it alone, because guess what? We've done nothing alone.
Yeah.
In our entire lives.
Yep.
We've done nothing alone. But as soon as you retire, you're on your own.
Yeah, it's like being on an island. That's how I felt. All of a sudden you go from being in the middle of a city, and then you're sitting there on an island like Tom Hanks talking to Wilson in the basement. It's tough.
You know what, Paisher? I'd rather be friends with Wilson than a lot of people I met along the way. But not you. I'd rather be friends with you.
Well, let's be honest, you can talk to anybody, even in volleyball.
Yeah, I take that as a compliment. You know what? Riv seems to feel the same way. Although I always feel like it's somewhat of an intelligent conversation, but that's my own opinion. Paisher, good luck to you, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Buddy.
We wish you all the best. What's the first order of business for you?
We actually have a call today, this afternoon. Basically, all the team development staff getting together, and I've already started working for the last couple of weeks, reaching out to all the prospects, talking to them, watching a lot of film, trying to watch film on all the young guys and kind of catch up to speed with all the prospects. So, and then today we have a meeting and trying to map out how we move forward.
So is that what the call was about the other night to Riv and I, and the messages? Were you trying to see what kind of shape we were in, if we could come back to play, be a prospect for you?
Yes, definitely. I want to see it.
Hey,
Every Thursday morning at 8:00, I'll see you out at RSC. You're always welcome.
Not a chance.
No, thanks.
Not a chance. In fact, I don't know when I ever expect to put my skates on again. To be honest, Brody's not into it. We're not playing hockey at all. So I don't know if I ever put the skates on again. I know that the bottom of them are very rusty and chipped.
Who's going to troll the blue line on the offensive side in the summer leagues?
Oh, I'm always open for that. You know that. If someone needs a cherry picker, I'm there. Paisher, good luck to you, man. Thanks for joining us, too.
You betcha. You're welcome, guys.
Good job, buddy.
All the best to you. Nathan Paetsch, newest player development coach for the Buffalo Sabres, and I do believe he will do good things for the Sabres and their players.